Most people think creativity is a gift, something you're either born with or not. But here's the truth: creativity isn't magic. It's built on something even more powerful: discipline. And without discipline, your creative potential will stay locked up forever. Did you know that 70% of people say they have at least one creative idea every day, but only 10% actually turn those ideas into action? That's a shocking 90% of people letting their creativity slip away. The problem isn't a lack of ideas, it's the lack of disciplined habits to make those ideas real. In this video, we're going to uncover the surprising ways discipline can fuel creativity. You'll learn how tiny changes to your daily routine can unlock your inner genius. You'll hear stories of famous creatives who didn't rely on inspiration alone. They followed strict habits to turn their ideas into breakthroughs. Ready to stop waiting for the perfect moment to get creative? Let's dive in and discover how to turn your discipline into your biggest creative asset. Chapter 1. The Chaos of Creative Freedom. How discipline channels your inner genius. Creativity is often seen as an untamed beast, something that thrives in disarray. But that's a myth. True creative freedom comes from structure. Think about it. Without discipline, your mind is like a cluttered desk, ideas scattered everywhere, and nothing gets done. A study by the University of California found that people with a clear structure are 25% more productive. That's because discipline gives you focus, which is crucial for creativity. When you have a routine, you know when and where to work. This allows your mind to flow freely within those boundaries. It's like a river: if there are no banks, the water just spreads out. But when there are banks, it flows powerfully. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." It's not about waiting for a burst of inspiration. It's about showing up every day, disciplined, ready to create. Having a set time and space to work isn't restrictive, it's liberating. You're giving your mind the freedom to dive deep into creative thought because there's no worrying about where or when to start. That's when ideas start to flow naturally. It's when discipline stops being a chore and starts becoming a tool. Creative geniuses like Picasso didn't rely on spontaneous inspiration alone. They adhered to strict work routines. They knew that their best ideas would come when they showed up every day, even if the ideas didn't come immediately. For them, it wasn't about waiting for magic. It was about making creativity a habit. Chapter 2. From Procrastination to Productivity. Building momentum like a creative machine. Procrastination is the enemy of creativity. It stalls progress and drowns potential. The trick to overcoming it? Discipline. In fact, research shows that procrastinators have higher levels of stress and lower creativity, according to a study by the American Psychological Association. The longer you delay, the harder it becomes to start. So, how do you stop procrastinating? Start small. Set tiny, manageable goals that are easy to achieve. This creates momentum. Once you begin, it's easier to keep going. Think of it like rolling a snowball down a hill. It starts small but picks up speed. This is known as the Zeigarnik effect, a psychological phenomenon where unfinished tasks stay on your mind until completed. When you break a task into smaller chunks, the brain is more likely to stay engaged and finish it. Another powerful strategy is time blocking. Set aside a specific period during the day for creative work, and don't let anything interrupt that time. Even a 30-minute block can be incredibly productive if you stay focused. This reduces decision fatigue and eliminates distractions, making it easier to jump into your work. According to productivity expert Cal Newport, focus is the new IQ. When you remove distractions, your mind works at its highest level. And with that focused discipline, creativity can thrive. It's about choosing action over hesitation and turning discipline into a habit that fuels your creative drive. Chapter 3. The Power of Repetition. Why mastery is the shortcut to creativity. If you want to be creative, you need to master your craft. And that requires repetition. The idea of doing the work, day in and day out might sound boring, but it's a critical part of the creative process. Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers highlights that it takes roughly 10,000 hours of practice to master a skill. But mastery doesn't just lead to better skills, it unlocks new ways to think and create. By repeating a task, you're not just improving your ability to do it, you're also building your brain's creative pathways. When you practice something repeatedly, you begin to understand it on a deeper level, which leads to more inventive ideas. Think of any artist or writer. They didn't create masterpieces in a flash. They honed their craft through years of repetition, refining their technique with each project. This is why creativity isn't about being born with it. It's about putting in the work. Through repetition, you train your mind to think differently and more creatively. It's like lifting weights. Each representative makes you stronger, and each representative opens up new possibilities. A study in psychology of aesthetics, creativity, and the arts found that expert musicians, those who've practiced for thousands of hours, are better at improvisation. Why? Because they've internalized the structure of their craft and can now think outside of it. The same applies to any field of creativity. Discipline and repetition is the shortcut to reaching those unexpected, creative heights. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for the next chapters where we dive deeper into how discipline can unlock your true creative potential. Chapter 4. The Art of Saying No, Discipline and Creative Boundaries. A lot of people think creativity is about saying yes to everything. But the most creative people know when to say no. They know that creative energy is limited and distractions dilute it. Saying no is a form of discipline that protects your time, focus, and energy. Steve Jobs was a master of this. He said, "People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are." Focus isn't just about what you choose to do, it's about what you decide not to do. Saying no to distractions and unnecessary tasks allows you to concentrate your creative power on what really matters. This discipline is a game changer. It's easy to fall into the trap of overcommitting, but that only spreads your energy thin. Creative work demands depth, not breadth. The fewer things you're juggling, the more energy you have to pour into each project. According to a study in the Harvard Business Review, people who master the art of saying no are more productive and experience less burnout. Creating boundaries allows you to protect your most valuable resource, time. When you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to your creative potential. Chapter 5. Creating from Constraints. How limits ignite the spark of creativity. Constraints may seem like a roadblock to creativity, but they can actually fuel it. When you limit your options, your brain is forced to think more resourcefully. This is a principle that's been proven time and time again. In fact, a study published in Creativity Research Journal found that people who work within constraints come up with more creative solutions than those who have unlimited options. Take the example of Dr. Seuss, who was given the challenge of writing a book using only 50 different words. The result? Green Eggs and Ham, one of the most beloved children's books ever written. The limitation sparked his creativity and forced him to think differently. In the world of art, limitations often lead to innovation. The Dadaists, for example, created revolutionary works by intentionally rejecting traditional rules and embracing restrictions. By doing so, they unleashed a wave of creative expression that changed the art world forever. Constraints push you to work within a box, but that box doesn't limit creativity, it amplifies it. Discipline in accepting and using limitations can lead to surprising, original results. Chapter 6. Fail Forward. Using discipline to turn mistakes into masterpieces. Failure is often seen as the enemy of creativity, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools you can use. The key is discipline. Instead of avoiding failure, disciplined creatives lean into it. They understand that mistakes aren't setbacks, they're opportunities to learn and grow. One famous example is Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset you need to adopt. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the creative process. The more disciplined you are in your approach to failure, the quicker you'll learn from it. This is the essence of failing forward. Every mistake you make is a lesson that brings you closer to success. The more you embrace this, the less fear you'll have of failure, and the more creative breakthroughs you'll experience. Researchers in the field of creativity have found that creative individuals tend to reframe failures as learning experiences rather than defeats. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about using discipline to push forward, learn, and evolve. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next video on unlocking your creative power.